Hi, everyone. Another Thursday. And we are here for the Wada Forum. Yay. So today we're going to talk mostly about, so that's our agenda. We're going to have some community updates. Someone will be telling us about BGI. Megan will talk to us about quadratic voting. So as we all know, as of now, we are in Fund 14 voting. So we will bring some updates on that. I mean, last week, for those of you that were here, if you remember, we're having some kind of a debate whether quadratic voting is live for Fund 14 or not. So we have some updates on that. We will talk briefly about the intersect board elections, and then majority of our discussions will be on the Cardano Africa Tech Summit. Next slide. So these are our resources. When you go to Intersect, there is lots and lots of information. Same for Cardano Foundation, lots of education, up-to-date information. And also, as you all know, we are part of the Singularity Net ecosystem. So there is also a lot of information there. Harry, nice to have you. Can you read our mission statement for us?
Okay, hi everyone. So just to take you through the mission. So our mission is to elevate underrepresented groups through the application of technology and invest in a more equitable future.
Thank you, Harry.
Notre mission, soulever les groupes sous-représentés grâce à l'application de la technologie et investir dans un avenir plus équitable. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, and thanks, Mercy, for taking over there. I don't know what was happening, but I connected a different audio, so let me know if it cuts out again. But now I'm actually going to pass over the mic to Samuel to talk to us a little bit about something exciting coming up in Singularity Net. Over to you, Sam.
Yes, Megan, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Coming through clear.
Thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. Hi, everyone out there. I'm here to just share some news. Singularity Net is hosting the BGI 25 hackathons. It is titled AGI Without Borders. It actually launches virtually this September, and it will wrap up with live showcases in Istanbul and Nairobi later part of next month. To get you the specific dates, not confirmed, but provisional dates around October 21 to October 23, 2025, sorry. And as and when these confirmations come, or if there are new updates, we are going to actually share on the call. This particular hackathon builds on the momentum from the recent meta training and the hackathons that we had in Nairobi. Those of you who have been in this space.
Point of correction. May I jump in?
Yeah,
very quickly. So the BGI conference itself is a conference and conference, right? The one that is going to happen in Turkey, it's actually a conference, but leading up to it is the hackathon. So let me just clarify that. So there's a whole conference that is going to happen in Turkey by the Singularity Net ecosystem. But adjacent that are the hackathons. So take it away, Samuel.
Sure, and just to confirm, the conference is what is happening on the October 21st to the 23rd, as I mentioned earlier. Just log onto this space when there are new updates on this particular thing we are going to share. So just as I was saying, we are building momentum from the recent meta training in hackathons that we had in Nairobi, along with Hack India program, which was held earlier. So the developer communities from those events will be joining the game alongside new partners from Turkey, from India, from elsewhere around the world. In total, we are expecting developers around 150 to 200 to actually participate both in the virtual and also the live showcases of the conference happening later in Nairobi and Istanbul. So the hackathon challenges focus on some really impactful areas. I'll mention a few, but it's under development. I'm sure some are going to be added to it. But for now, we are looking at preserving cultural memory and indigenous knowledge with AI. We'll be building explainable AI for civic decision making. We'll be building on decentralized fact checking and media integrity. And last but not least, we will be protecting children from harmful impacts of AI. So these are areas that we want to focus on. But like I said, these are provisional at the moment. And as and when there are updates, we'll share it on the call in subsequent programs. So the whole idea is to make AGI development more open and say more ethical and inclusive in order to ensure that it actually reflects diverse communities and not just a few privileged voices. WADA will be participating actively in this BGI project. So we'll be fully represented at the hackathon in Istanbul. We are working around that. Our role will include serving as a judge and a mentor. We'll be supporting with insights on community-driven innovation and Africa's perspective in decentralized AI. We will also join relevant panels and discussions. We'll help strengthen partnerships or strengthen our partnerships with BGI and other ecosystem partners. And last but not least, we'll help assist or will assist with on-site coordination to ensure a smooth and an impactful showcase. The partners involved in this project, SNET, ASI Alliance, Fetch.ai, ICOG Labs, WADA, and BeyondTheCode.ai. And we'll be ensuring or be bringing mentorship, tools, and support as far as this particular project is concerned. I want to wrap up here, but this is shaping up to be a really important step towards decentralized AI, if I can say. And for me, what is exciting is that it's great to see Nairobi featured again on the global stage. That's what I can share for now. If Mercy, I left something you want to add, feel free. Or maybe we can come up at a later time with some more information on this. Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Nothing to add from me. I think you pretty much said everything. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Take over, Megan.
All right, excellent. Yeah, it's great to hear about all these different
Megan, you're on
things.
mute.
Oh, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Oh, okay.
Or
Maybe
I'm not hearing her. Are issues again with the audio?
I can hear her loud and clear. Can anybody
feel
else
free.
confirm?
Anyone in the chat? Yeah, if you can't hear me,
I can hear from you,
post.
Megan.
Oh,
I
okay.
can hear you.
All right. Thanks.
Yeah, now it's back for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. I was just saying, thanks, Samuel, for that update. It's exciting to hear about some different events happening with our different, communities. So that's what we have from SingularityNet. Now let's move on to our other community updates. Next slide. So Fund 14. Nanasapo, do you want to talk through this slide?
Yeah, sure, I can do that.
Great.
Yeah.
So thanks for giving me the space to do this. As always, last week we did inform you guys that Fund 14 voting was actually commencing, and I believe we are gradually, heading to the latter part of it, which is 26th, sorry, October 6th, right? So currently, if you are not started voting yet, I will entreat you to visit your voting app and then look up the proposal that you think you want to vote for. And then, of course, vote to support them in Catalyst Fund 14. It is very essential that you do that, so that these proposals can actually get some funding to develop what solutions they want to develop for the entire ecosystem. So right now, we are in the middle of the voting period, I would say. Almost in the middle of voting period. So you have a few more days until October 6th to actually conclude your voting. So please do well to do that. And also, if you're a proposer and you are looking out for ways and means to, track how many votes you are receiving, not necessarily the volume, but the number of votes you are receiving on your proposal so far, you can do so using the Catalyst Explorer app that was developed by the Light Donation crew. I'll be sharing a link in the chat so you can use that to track the number of proposals, the number of votes that you have received so far. Not necessarily the volume, please bear in mind, but just the number of votes you have received so far. And at least use that to position yourself in terms of marketing and also reaching out to a lot more people to vote for you. There is no guarantee that the number of, or let me say, the higher number of votes you would receive would determine that you would be funded or not. It is largely going to be based on the volume, right? And thanks to the operations or the processes, quadratic is obviously also introduced in Fund 14. So I believe Megan will walk us through the details as to what it really means for Fund 14 and you and I as ordinary voters. Yeah, so thanks Megan once again, and back to you for quadratic voting.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I wanted to give you a chance to talk because now I'll be talking and I don't like talking too much. I think people get tired of the same person. So just to clear the air once and for all, last week you all pressured me into backing down, but quadratic voting is happening. This exact fund that we're in, it's happening. And I wanted to run you through a quick presentation that I have about it just to give a bit more background, I guess, and paint the whole picture. Because I know sometimes talking is less illustrative than actually, seeing some visuals on the screen. So it's not included in this presentation, but Richmond, if you wouldn't mind switching over. All right. So for some of you, while it's getting pulled up, so some of you know about my involvement, in the Wada community for a very long time now, but also since about Fund 4, I got introduced to Kenrick Nelson, the founder and president of Votrek, who, since those early days was a very strong advocate for quadratic voting. And actually how we met each other, some of you remember in the early Project Catalyst days, they had this, I forget even what it was called, where you posted ideas before they were fully formed proposals. You just posted like thoughts essentially. And then people could come together to talk about. So we had each posted kind of our concerns about, the one coin, one vote. And essentially that's how we connected. So my first collaboration with Votrek was on this Fund 4 proposal, emphasizing quadratic voting. Yeah, I kind of talked through this, so let's skip just to the next slide. So let's highlight why your vote matters. So I think we know by now, one coin, one vote really concentrates power in ADA holders that have a lot of ADA, very disproportionately so. I definitely understand, the whole idea of voter apathy or feeling like your voice doesn't count when it comes to some of our communities that don't have as much ADA if it's, due to a number of factors. But, in particular, I think I voiced this around a couple of funds ago when they opened up voting to voting with 25 ADA as the minimum. So, my concern at that time was that's very nice to make people feel included, but it doesn't really do much in terms of your power. And there's another part of the community that feels, maybe one person, one vote would give a better representation. Well, there's a lot of, I guess, counter arguments to that. On the one hand, I think a lot of people want to have some value given to people who have proven more stake in the ecosystem. And, one way to do that is that you have ADA. And if you've held it for a long time, you probably have more, and it shows that you care. And, ultimately, this is kind of how Project Catalyst gets funding, through ADA circulating in the system and the treasury replenishing, etc. So quadratic voting provides, a step towards a more fair price for influence in shaping collective decisions. Next. So here's some statistics on, the fund spread kind of for Catalyst voting. So in Fund 12, there was about 2.2 billion USD equivalent. This is ADA. Ignore the dollar sign here. It's ADA used in voting power. About 7,000 wallets cast their votes, and about, this 300,000, that's across all proposals. So here's the last part that's really fascinating. 1.5% of the wallets, so of this 2.2 billion ADA, of these 7,000 wallets that voted, only about 1.5 of those wallets have any power in the voting. They control essentially 50% of voting power. So, those lower wallets control essentially 1% of voting power, which, that doesn't seem fair, right? So this quadratic voting essentially aims to address this, gross discrepancy in values. So how exactly does it work? Let's go to the next slide. So for you as the user, you will cast your vote normally. And then where quadratic voting comes in is in the calculation of how your vote is tallied. So the square root function, will be put on your total ADA holdings of your wallet at this time of snapshot, and that will equal your voting power, as opposed to before, where it was just the total amount of ADA that you had. And then votes will be tallied, and the results will be released. There are also, exploring ways to make this more secure with things like zero knowledge proofs, essentially a way to prove a unique identity without giving, KYC level identifiers. But for anyone who's registered, that registering a wallet, would be quite tedious to have to register multiple wallets. And in fact, I think one of the biggest concerns for people who aren't sold on what I've said so far with quadratic voting is the potential for Sybil attacks. If you split your wallet, a lot of times you could sort of game the system. I think and it's something we talked about on Catalyst Town Hall the other day, there are kind of intrinsically a few safeguards in place anyways against that. It would be very tedious to do it. And also the way the registration is set up is that you get different benefits from different aspects of your wallet. So, things like the reviewers, it's beneficial for a reviewer from their standpoint to have, had that wallet connected for a long time, because you can advance to different levels of reviewers, etc. But let me move along. I don't want to talk too much on this. So kind of just those of you who aren't super math brained, kind of some simple calculations to think about. So square root is basically what number times itself equals the number. So for a 1 million ADA wallet, the square root would give you 1,000. For a 100 ADA wallet, the square root would give you 10. So instead of before, where you could cast a 1 million vote versus a 100 vote, now, it's like a 1,000 versus 10, which, you still have more influence as a larger wallet, but it's not so much more that 10 becomes insignificant. And this is kind of just an easy calculation to illustrate. Of course, the numbers are never like quite this perfect, but just to put some thought around what this exactly means. So really quick, we'll just go on to the next slide, where I just painted the picture of who else is using quadratic voting. Cardano is not revolutionary in the sense that, no one's using it. There are other chains that are using it. So some people have heard of Gitcoin. They do quadratic funding as a kind of catalyst style platform, where they quadratically match funding to fund projects. There's another platform called Retro PGF funding. Cosmos is another one. And then in Taiwan and Germany, they both have aspects of quadratic voting in their political systems for how they make collective decisions as a community. So just to say, these are things that are being used elsewhere in the world, and it's quite exciting and fascinating that we'll be seeing the first implementation of this in Catalyst this round. Thank you so much for listening. Hope that this cleared up, some of your questions on quadratic voting. I'd be happy, to go into any questions if anyone has any quick questions, but then I do want to let us move on and get to some of our other topics today. Yeah, I see Abdul's hand up.
Yeah. Thank you, Megan, for the presentations. Very, very awesome. And I think the same realization I have about quadratic voting, I'm still having that very kind of feelings. And the feeling is that, what is the difference does this make? If we have to be honest with ourselves, if we can have 1 million voting power and 1,000 voting power, that makes it 900,000 voting power difference, right? But when we find the square root of both, of the 1,000 and the 1 million, so we have 10 to 1,000, which is about 990 voting counts at the same time. Seems to be a very great difference to me. So if all of these big actors vote as they usually do, would there be any difference to the outcome that we have experienced in the previous time? So, please convince me on this.
Sure. And I'll say that this is the first step. The point is introducing one thing that will start to level the field a little bit. There needs to, I'm saying this because there's been a lot of community sentiment that there should be, some value given to the fact that someone has more ADA than another person. So does it make a huge difference? It's kind of like a yes and no. I can tell you I did some analysis, and I've seen other people also doing analysis on, for example, last fund voting, to see what the difference with a square root would have done in the outcome. And interestingly, it's subtle, the difference, but there is a difference. And where you notice it is in kind of in the order. So let's say maybe the top 10 projects wouldn't, it wouldn't make that much of a difference of which group of projects are in the top 10. But what it might make a difference is in the order with which those were the top 10, right? Because with this square root, you get more, you generally get more votes if more wallets have voted for you. So it's kind of a way of adding that factor into the equation. So it's not just total ADA that's voted for you, but it adds the factor of number of wallets that have voted kind of intrinsically through the mathematics of it. So I do agree with you, a 1,900, let's say 990 difference of ADA does still sound like a lot. But these are just some numbers, and, there aren't, the numbers are much more diverse. Let's put it that way. So I would say the difference of, 900 just feels more attainable, if you were to, because if you think about this, another way you could get 900 votes is the square root of 1. And this is just mathematical because we still have the 25 ADA as a cap. But if you take the square root of 1, that's one vote. So that's another way to illustrate how emphasis is given back to number of wallets that vote. I hope that clarified a little bit.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll be willing to see the comparison analysis of the last round voting and this one. I think that will answer my question very perfectly. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Nanasafu.
Yeah, I have a question, but before then, I want to withdraw my initial comment that perhaps the more wallets that vote for you, would sort of maybe determine whether or not you are getting funded or not, given the explanation you just stated earlier, that it is not really about, voting power really, but it is about the total number of wallets that are going to vote for you. That is somehow going to contribute to, determine whether you'll be funded or not. My question has to do with the voting cap, right? In previous funds, the notion was that for each proposal to be able to get funded, first of all, you need to meet a certain threshold, which is about 45 million ADA or so. So now, has that threshold been lowered to match these quadratic settings, or it is still the same? Because just checking quickly, square root of 45 million ADA would give us around 6,708. So has that been effectively sort of lowered, or it is still hanging around the same figures? And if it is hanging around the same figures, then exactly how do we expect proposals to meet such threshold? Because now, even if somebody is voting with about 45 million ADA for you, you're only getting about 6,708.
All right, that is an excellent question. I would not like to answer it. The short answer is I'm not sure. It seems like that wouldn't make any sense for it to stay the same because of exactly what you're saying. However, I don't know if the exact answer is they're just taking the square root of that or if there's a different threshold.
Okay.
So that's a good question. Maybe we can bring that to town hall.
Yeah, hello, Megan. This is an interesting discussion. I also have some questions as well, but Fan 15 will also be there. Let's make it a point to explain quadratic voting some more in other programs. Now, maybe we can talk about cats now. How does that sound?
Perhaps you can also share with us links to maybe some knowledge bases that we can actually go and read further. It's hard finding these things online. I don't know why, but this time around, Catalyst has not really tried with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. All right. Well, I expect to be able to talk more about this as voting progresses. And, exactly as Abdul brought up, maybe once voting is over, it would also be an interesting time to reflect upon what happened. So we'll definitely add that to our agenda. But I do agree, let's move along and hear some more about the very exciting Cardano Africa Tech Summit, CATS, that is coming up in just a few months at this point. Right, Mercy?
Yeah, we cannot go to the summit without promoting our very own.
Yep. Sorry. You're right.
Yeah,
Let's pull the slides back up. Keep us on track.
absolutely.
There we have
Yeah,
it.
right.
Mercy.
So Interset board election is still ongoing. It is actually ending in less than 24 hours. And if you are yet to vote, whether you are listening to a live stream on X or probably you are live with us here on Zoom, I just want to encourage you that amongst the candidates, one very favorite who would really, really do well is Mercy Fojo. So please do well to look her up and then give her your votes so that she can, give us that representation we need up there as a region, right? We need that. So please do well to put her up and then let's just support her. If you're also looking for other candidates to as well vote for, I did put together an article. I put a link in the chat. You can just read it up on Cardano Forum and then look for those other individuals that you can actually support. I think they are great individuals over there. So please do well to look it up and then enjoy. Back to you, Megan.
No, in fact, we'll go over to Mercy herself, and we'll move on to the next slide to talk about what's the update with cats. Mercy, you are on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all that. I did have a question about the quadratic voting as well, but maybe we will save it till Q&As at the end if we have time. But I think that we can talk about this, for more weeks to come. So very quickly, I want to talk about the catalyst, the Cardano Africa Tech Summit. As we all know, the Cardano Summit has historically been held, and we talked about this last week, but we just want to reiterate the fact that it has been held in places where it hasn't been very favorable for people, sort of in Africa, in South Asia, East Asia, and so on to attend. So we made a very strong push last year to have a summit in a place where it is possible for as many people as possible to attend. And what happened was that we now have one in Africa. It was supposed to be in 2025, but it's going to happen, due to strategic alignment and bigger impact. It's going to happen in Nairobi in February 2026, alongside the Africa Tech Summit, which is also another big event. So we are really hoping to push Cardano Tech and so on to a very wide community, sort of Web 2 to Web 3 community, and we are very, very excited about that. Now, leading to that, what we are trying to do is to have one portal. So one portal where so it's like one portal to rule them all, if I should put it that way. And that portal is going to have our hackathon leading up to the summit and also the summit itself. If somebody can drop a link. So after this broadcast, we are going to put the link out there because, it's still a work in progress in terms of adding more and more information. But we are going to, put more information out there. So basically, the main information that we want to share is the fact that originally we were thinking that our hackathons will be in 4 key countries. That's where we're going to push it. But we have realized that there is a lot of interest all over Africa and even outside of Africa. So we are opening it up. Any group, any community group, any hub, anywhere in Africa that wants to participate, please go to the portal and register. How we're going to do this, we're going to do it along regenerative principles. So what regenerative principles mean is that solutions are rooted in place. So we actually have a co-harding here, because earlier this year we had one such hackathon in Accra, and Eko was part of the group. He was one of the team leads, and whatever he built, because he looked around him and he saw some of the issues around his, a very felt need for him. He did get a few people together. They designed a project. It did win locally, but they have kept working on this project. And he actually put in a proposal in Fund 14. I think I'm going to give a call 1 minute to talk about how that process went and why he's still working on his project. And I didn't give Eko a heads up, so I hope he's still on the call and he can hear me. Eko, are you ready to? Yeah, perfect. Okay, take it away and then I'll continue.
All right, thank you very much, Madam Mercy, for the opportunity. So my name is Eko Harden, and I was fortunate and privileged to be part of the first cohort for the action learning journey that happened in Accra. So we were given the opportunity to walk through our neighborhood and identify some problems within the communities. So myself, I think somewhere in 2023, I happened to do my national service at one hospital. And what I realized was that every morning I wasted productive time because it was a hospital. I have a background in biomedical engineering. So because it was a hospital, I was supposed to get there before the nurses. And every issue that was coming, every morning I had to waste productive time in long queues trying to find car. I remember there was several times I had to even jump through windows just to get there. Fast forward, it drained me like a lot. Then fast forward after NSS2, I also realized that I happened to have a remote job. So I was trying to make extra cash by having a ride-hailing app, like joining a ride-hailing app as a driver. And I realized that the problem was the same. So the walk through the community, I realized that it's actually a pressing issue and I wasn't the only one experiencing that. So I shared it with a group of people and they believed in the idea that it's actually true and it's a pressing matter that needs to be solved. So through the action learning journey, I remember we had to have a market research. So we got people who were working to fill the forms. Over 50 people responded and they were actually impressed by what we had in mind. People were even willing to pay more to make sure that they get the comfort of it too. Fast forward Fund 14, we realized that it's actually an opportunity for us to push, because we noticed that even in our local community, the ministries are looking for solution for a problem with the transport industry, and it built Urban Link. So on Fund 14 is called Urban Link 2. So we had a 100-day challenge so that we equip ourselves with the necessary skills to build this project. So myself, before the action learning journey, I had no technical skill. But through the through the action learning journey, I've decided that, or I've realized that I'm very good with UI UX designing. So I have a short pitch on Twitter. I think probably I'll share it. Okay, I shared it yesterday with Wada, and they reposted, so you can check it out. A short pitch. I was able to build the UI UX prototype from scratch too, and I believe that I've personally grown. Aside that, my members, some of them were just like basics in coding and developers, so, and they are like really doing very well with the smart contract building, because the way the app is going to work is going to hold money when the riders pay, and at the end of the ride it will be handed over to the drivers too. So I believe that this action learning journey, like, it's changed a lot about me, and I believe that any youth or young person would be coming on go a bit further and even build businesses out of it too. Because in Africa, we are always said, Cardano is always saying that Africa, most of our projects are around ecosystem. So I think the more use cases that will be developing out of a project like the Cardano African Summit, I believe that it would also put Africa out there, that we are also a hub for real use cases, not just the ecosystem too. So thank you very much, Madam Messi, for the opportunity once again.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, basically that is how we want to structure our hackathons, built in place through felt needs, right? It's not just learning some cool tech, cool Cardano tech, and then just trying to design something. So this type of hackathon, the way that it works is that when we start, we don't even touch the tech, right? We look, as Eko said, participants go around, look in their community, what problems they have before they even come to look at the tech. And next week, we will definitely be bringing a lot more information, but today I think that we're a bit short on time. So can we go to the next slide, please? So I want to show this slide as an encouragement to everyone, especially our hub leads and our community leads. As I said, this hackathon, even though we're going to start a lot of it sort of online, is very, very local. It's very, very place-based. So we are looking for hub leads to bring your team members to participate in these hackathons. When you look at these analytics, we can see that DRC is doing really great. So thanks to you, Boaz. I think Boaz was on the call last week, and he seems to be bringing his people in. And also we can see that there is a lot going on in Kenya, which is fantastic. That's where we're going to have the summit. So that is all for now. As I said, I wanted to share a bit more, but information is definitely coming. Can somebody drop a link to the portal in the chat, and then we will share it to later on Twitter, because we are broadcasting. So I think that for now that is it. This is something that we've all wanted. We want to build on a consistent base. One of the I would say limitations that we've had has been the fact that, we go to Catalyst, we get funding, we start, get people to, young people to start building, and then subsequently they don't get funding. So that actually is a big issue. If we are able to do this summit and do it well, show that we are converting these hackathons to developers, to building, 6 months, 1 year after the summit, that gives us a very strong, case to keep doing that and to bring some consistency to the building situation in Africa. As Abdul Rahman said last week, we do need to make a strong case for why Africa should be considered. We just shouldn't do hackathons just for hackathon's sake. We need to be producing real use case. And sometimes it just takes one person Who knows where this urban link project will go, because this is something that is actually needed by the ministries in Accra, in Ghana, and so on. So we are just looking for that. And every time people build for people, it's just a matter of time. So I think I will end here. And let's go to the next slide, I believe, for questions. Abdul.
Okay, thank you, Ma. My question is on the all participation. Do you mean that we have to limit the registration to up and the operating teams, or do you mean the up community members can as well participate? I want to be clarified on that.
So the hub has people, right? So the hub brings people, but also, as Samuel said last week, if you are not part of a hub currently, that doesn't stop you from registering, because then, we can find a way to align, with a local hub, or maybe even, one person, let's say, registered from Abuja, they look around, they find an issue, they bring maybe 2 or 3 or 4 friends along. They want to solve this issue on Cardano. That is a hub that is formed. So already we now have an Abuja hub, right? So there is no limitation. We just want to go as widely as possible. So from now till the 15th of December, there's going to be a lot of virtual onboarding, enrollment, teaching. We are right now partnering with Andamio. We all know the Andamio platform, and then we'll be teaching some smart contract, Akin, for developers and also for storytellers, actually. So we want to bring as many use cases as possible. So please spread the word. We are planning how to let people know, as many people know as possible. Anything else to add?
Yeah, maybe if I could jump in with another clarifying question to, I think, what the question being asked. So if a hub has, a lot of people in it, are they limited to one team? I think the answer is no. That everyone can be, you can be forming a teams. The fact that you're associated with the hub is great. But it's not to say, I think to answer your question, it's not like one hub, one team. It's like the concept of hub is being used to potentially mean groups or teams, but the already existing hubs that are set up can split into multiple teams, I think.
Absolutely. Yes, that is absolutely correct. And thank you for that clarification. So yes, within a hub, say in Lagos, there could be 10 teams building within that hub. And please, people should not be intimidated by these hackathons. A lot of times, we had a call, right? When he came in, he didn't feel that he was developer enough. But once you come in and you find something that is, that you are passionate about, there is always a space for people, either market researchers, front-end developers, storytellers. Just sign up, but also bring your developer friends. But you can also always learn new skills. Now the languages on Cardano is being simplified quite a bit. So just come. You'll find good mentors, and let's build. This is our opportunity. This is what I've been struggling for for the past 5 years. So now we have it. Let's make the most of it. I'm going to hand it over to Samuel or Megan to facilitate the questions. Okay, none of them are talking. So I think maybe Nana Safwa, you are appearing first on my page.
Sorry,
Go
Mercy.
ahead.
I think I had accidentally muted. But yeah, go ahead. Nana Safa, what's your question?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for that presentation and the clarity brought forth. My question has to do with those who already are, I would say, established hubs on their own and are perhaps not even doing anything with Cardano or doing anything on Cardano, right? But I've seen this for the first time and would want to participate. What I mean, are there any form of limitations to these groups, or they can just apply and also participate freely without having to feel like, okay, once I participate in this, then I have to convert my hub into a Cardano hub or perhaps into a Wada hub or something like that? Perhaps they don't want to do that at all.
Yeah, that's a great question. Absolutely, you don't have to be a Wada hub. You don't have to be any hub. As long as you're a community, like you are based in place, right? And you want to expand. Maybe you're already a Web3 group, but now you want to build on Cardano. It's open wide for everyone, anyone. Even if, like we're even encouraging Web2 developers to also apply, because right now, yeah, Web2 is good, but, we're moving towards Web3. We are going to have a strong AI component with this. As we know, we have very close relationship with the Singularity Net now with ASI. So we could be having some tracks on learning how to, like use AI tech on blockchain, like Cardano. So there is a lot on offer and there is no limitation at all. Nobody has to be any kind of hub. As long as they can come together as a group, that's enough.
Awesome. And before maybe Abdul comes in, I have a follow-up question if you don't mind. That one has to do with broad participation, right? So we do know that WADA as an entity itself is made up of a group of individuals who have diversities in terms of experience and expertise. Are there any laid down procedures to ensure that this hackathon, right, is free of any conflict of interest? So perhaps maybe some of the WADA core team members may want to also participate in this particular activity. Perhaps they have ideas. How do they participate, and what is the measure put in place to ensure that they are participating free and fairly?
That's a great question. So there's going to be judging. We're going to post some mentors from the Cardano ecosystem, to mentor people. But also, when it comes to the judging, it's going to be as outside of the planning committee. So the planning committee is WADA, CATH, Remostat, obviously the Cardano Foundation, and so on. So there will be some participation from the planning committee, but also we are going to look outside of that, yes, to keep it as fair as possible. But that's a great question. Megan, anything to add on that? Because we've discussed this, right?
Yeah, I think you said it well, so I don't want to add anything else.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you. Harun, go for it.
Hi, Mercy. Thank you so much for your amazing presentation. I really love what you're doing. So my question is about the training that would be happening with Andamio. Will it be specifically for the hackathon? Will it be an ongoing thing? What exactly is the structure? Is it free? Is it paid? Is it for beginners? Is it for developers?
That's a good question. So it will not be paid by the participants. As we all know, this summit is being paid by the Cardano community. So the hackathons are also, there's funding for that. So that's something that is going to be covered. I mean, when you look at the Andamio platform, one of the good things about it is that it caters for a wide range. So you can take it at your pace. And then, if sort of as you're going through, you feel that there are some things that you already know, you don't have to focus too much on that. So Darlington was on the call last week. Today, he wasn't able to make it, but he's working feverishly to tailor the content to fit our hackathon, what we want to see. So we will bring more information on that, but a lot of things will also be emergent in the sense that we will be listening to our students' feedback, and if we need to pivot, we pivot. One of the key things that we really want to focus on is that this doesn't end after the summit. And that goes to your question as to the availability. So for as long as people want to stay and learn, they can keep learning. After the summit, what we're going to do is that the top teams that win, we're actually going to have in-person hackathons, intensives, that's what we call them, incubation style. Make sure that we keeping on so that we don't lose the gains that we've made during the hackathon.
Thank you so much for that. I have a follow-up question. So I'm going to be starting October. I'm going to be an Intersect developer advocate, and
Okay.
one of the duties is to at least find partnerships and networking opportunities and connections, and figure out how we can onboard more developers and also help as many developers as possible. So my next question is there a particular way you feel like Intersect can assist further, especially when it comes to access to developers?
So that is a great question, and this is something that's actually very close to Darlington's heart. We've talked about it in terms of how to really concentrate African developers in some of the programs, like open source program in Intersect, and also the developer advocate program. We can look at that, but one of the things that we're actually looking to do is that even for the developers that participate in this hackathons, for those that end up not really developing, any products, what we are also looking is ways to, sort of put them into some kind of pipeline. I mean, I'll say employment pipeline or contributor pipeline, and we are exploring all of that. So, if that's what you're asking, yes, we are looking at everything. And last week, or maybe I don't know if he said it on the call, but there's a lot of work that Darlington is doing regarding developers, developer advocates, and so on.
Okay, thank you for that. I did not have that information. I'd also like to help when it comes to that.
That would be amazing. So yeah, we'll be reaching out. Thank you, Haran. Who is going next? And I know that we are past time, but we want to take as many questions as possible.
I have a question, but I want Abdul to go first, and then I'll come after him.
Okay, thank you. Actually, my one is not a question, but a compliment. Actually, thank you very much for planning all of this. And as far as this developer experience and advocate is concerned, it happens like there was a hackathon that we had in Nigeria last year. No, early this year.
Yeah.
So
a sandbox
it was
one, right?
Sandbox, yeah, exactly. It was a really, really good experience for us on ground to see how much developer really need a lot of apps. And that drove me to reach out to a lot of people from the Cardano Foundations to get people on board, to get some kind of app to assist our developers writing AK smart contracts. As I speak with you now, there are about 7 developers that struggle almost every single day to get Akin validators running. And it has been very, very difficult to get people that are very good in that to assist them further. In one way or the other, they will claim that they are busy doing some project and all of that. So they were unable to attend to them as very much expected. And listening to this, that Andamio will be coming in is a very good thing for me to say thank you for doing this. And I'll be very really interested in connecting with Aruna as well regarding that. Yeah, because people really want to build on Cardano, but the tech is very, very intimidating, to be honest with you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Abdurrahman. That's really, really good feedback.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Abdul, how are you organizing your guys in Nigeria to take part in this? If you saw the analytics, Nigeria is missing on the list.
I'm actually waiting for more clarity. I discussed with my team last week on our weekly call, and we are really, really ready to be on standby. Don't be surprised when we are topping the chat.
When do you have those weekly calls? When do you have those weekly calls for
We
your
have
team?
it bi-weekly. We have it bi-weekly. It's bi-weekly every two
No, I want to know
weeks.
the day
Saturday.
and the time.
Saturday.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so maybe one of these calls, just give me an invite. I'll come and maybe explain a few things.
No problem. I will invite you.
But
Probably in my office
in the
work.
coming weeks, we will be getting in touch with the hub leads. So I will get personal with
All
you
right.
and explain things and render any support as far as getting as many people as possible connected to the
I
discussion.
trust you, my boss. I trust you. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right. So my question has to do with it still has to do with the participation, right? Are we looking to receive proposals or ideas from prototypes, or we are looking for fresh ideas only? I'm asking this because there are some ideas that have probably been developed to a certain level, but because of many reasons that perhaps some would relate to project management or lack of financial assistance, right? These projects have not been able to see the day of light. So is this hackathon looking to receive such ideas as well, or it is only looking to receive fresh ideas?
That's a great question. And that is something that we are still exploring very seriously. But we don't want to say no to anyone. We've had discussions as to whether, how do we bring in, all these already existing, lots of hackathons have been done. As long as people have been working on it, sort of the code is still up to date, and people are passionate about it, there is no reason why it cannot be included. The reason, originally when I was talking, I talked about, applying these regenerative principles, because what that does is that it's not just building anything based on what somebody has learned, right? But it's actually looking at problems and then figuring out what is the best way to build, right? So we actually start from strong problem statements. So that is what I'll say for now. Because what we don't want is to bring in a lot of already existing projects that, had died. We resurrect them for just a few months more, and then it dies again. We are looking for that that passion in terms of projects that have been built to meet needs, and we know that it will continue to exist. But I think that that's something that we can seriously look at as well. And next week, we are going to have a session whereby we talk even more about the hackathon especially, and some of the options that we are considering. So thank you, everyone.
All right. Well, I think that's all we're going to do for questions today. We've gone a bit over time. Good to see all the enthusiasm and get some more information about the hackathon coming up. And as Mercy just said, look for more content on the hackathon to be starting here on the forum next week. So thanks all for being here today. Merci à tous d'être venus aujourd'hui. And until next time.
Oops.
Bye-bye.
Don't go yet.
Why not? What did I forget?
I have an announcement.
Oh, okay. Announcements.
All right. So to everyone who has joined us today, either on X or on Zoom, I just want to appreciate your time. And quickly, I want to tell you that whilst you consider voting for proposals in Catalyst Fund 14, please do want to consider Wada's proposal, which is beyond
the chain.
Beyond the chain. I mean, which is basically looking at bringing Cardano to the doors of Africans, right? It is basically to support these forum sessions. Over the past 2 weeks, we had hosted and engaged with more than 1,800 participants on these forum sessions. And even preceding that, we have been running this for more than 3 years. So you can look at the numbers, very huge numbers. But we are looking to do even further in the space of 9 or 12 months ahead of us. If by the grace of God we get funded, we are looking to engage more than 3,000 individuals with these same forum sessions, and we are going to even expand it even further in terms of topics, scope. So please do well to vote for us, support us, and also let's keep feeding you with massive information and data as we do progress. Thank you very much, Megan.
No, thank you, Nana Safo, for not letting us close without, reminding about that. Exactly. Fund 14 voting is open. So we hope you participate in voting. We hope to continue to be able to support this space. Well, thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.